Hi everyone, it's Emma from Emma C Makes, and this is a tutorial on how to crochet this really pretty daisy stitch. And I've actually used this stitch in my daisy blanket here, and the daisy stitch is one of those stitches that sounds very complicated when you read the written instructions, but hopefully you'll be able to see from this tutorial that it's actually not that difficult. So I'm going to be using some DK cotton yarn and a 4mm hook, and I would recommend that you do use a cotton yarn or wool, something that's got a bit of stretch to it, that you can potentially block at the end. It doesn't do so well with acrylic yarn, this one, unfortunately. Please note that I am in the UK and therefore I use UK crochet terminology. This pattern uses 2 stitches. It uses a UK treble crochet, which is equivalent to a US double, and it also uses a UK double crochet, which is equivalent to a US single. But I will pop all of those details in the description box below. I'll just bring you a little bit closer. Okay, so to begin, we need to work a slip knot and pop that on our hook, and we need to create our starting chain in multiples of 15, and I'm going to do 45 altogether so that I can work through the pattern nice and thoroughly for you. Once you've finished working your foundation chain, what you want to do is add 2 more chains, and this is going to be just for turning. It doesn't actually count as a stitch in this instance. To get started with row 1, we're going to work a treble crochet and we're going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook. And what I like to do is work into the back bumps of the chain. So I turn it like this, so the back is facing upwards. And you can see we've got a bump here and a bump there. And I'm going to work my first stitch into this one here. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So you've just worked a treble crochet, and we're going to do that all the way along the row. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'll just show you once more. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So I'll continue working a treble crochet into each chain, and it's a good idea as you do this to just have another double check of the stitch count. Just count how many stitches you've got as you go along, and you should end up with the same number of stitches as you worked starting chains. So I should have 45 by the end of this, because remember, the extra 2 stitches that we worked at the end don't count as a stitch in this instance. I'm going to go ahead and work my way to the end of the row, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Once you've worked across that starting chain with your treble crochets, we're ready to begin row number 2. And we're going to do that by chaining 2 and turning our work, and this chain here actually counts as a stitch. So we're going to work a treble crochet into the next space along, so not this space directly underneath the chain here, but this one just to the side. So we're going to work a treble crochet into there, and again into the next 3 stitches. And remember that the starting chain counts as a stitch. So if we have a look, we've actually got 5 stitches here. We've got the 4 stitches that you've just worked, and then the turning chain. We're then going to chain 2. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches here, and we're going to work a treble crochet into the next stitch along. So chain 2 and skip 2 and work a treble crochet. We're going to chain 2 again. We're going to skip another 2 stitches, and we're then going to work 5 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and that actually forms our pattern repeat. So what we've got here, we've got 5 stitches, we've skipped 2 and worked a treble and skipped 2 and then worked another 5 stitches, and we're simply going to repeat that all the way along the row. So for the next pattern repeat, we're going to work another 5 treble crochets, and then we're up to this part here again, so we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches and work a treble crochet into the next stitch along, chain 2, skip 2 again and work 5 treble crochets. And this is actually forming the bottom of our petals, or the bottom of our daisies. So there's our second repeat done. So we've got 5 stitches, our skipped stitches, these are our petals, and another 5 stitches. And then I've chained 45 to begin with, so I've got 1 more repeat left. So I'm going to work another 5 treble crochets, we're going to chain 2 and skip 2 stitches and work a treble crochet into the next stitch, so the 3rd stitch along. We're going to chain 2 again and skip another 2 stitches, and then we're going to work 5 treble crochets again. And we should be left here at the end, and you can see this little bit here. This is our turning chain from the very beginning, when we added 2 on to our foundation chain, and we're not working into that. So that's row 2 complete. And what we're going to do now is start reducing the stitches on either side of the daisy here. So we're going to, for row 3, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work again, and this time we're going to work another 3 treble crochets. So remember that our starting chain counts as a stitch. So we've gone from 5 stitches here to 4, so we're not going to work into this one, we're actually going to skip that. We're going to chain 3. And now we're going to work a UK double crochet. So if you are in America or use US terms, this is a single crochet. We're going to work 1 into the chain space here. We're going to work another double crochet into the top of the treble crochet from the previous row. And then we're going to work another double crochet into that chain. So we've just worked 3 double crochets altogether. We're going to chain 3, and remember, before we did this we worked 4 treble crochets, not 5, so we need to skip this first one here, and we're going to work 4 treble crochets, and we're going to repeat that along the row. So 4 treble crochets, and we're going to skip this stitch here. We're going to chain 3, and now we're going to work our double crochets. So we're going to work 1 into that chain space. We're going to work a double crochet into the top of this stitch here, and then we're going to work another double crochet into that chain space again. We're going to chain 3 and skip this first stitch here, and then work 4 treble crochets. And the double crochets actually form the center of the daisy. We've worked our 4 treble crochets. So now I've got 1 pattern repeat left. So we're going to work 4 treble crochets. And we're going to skip this stitch here. We're going to chain 3. And we're going to work a double crochet into the chain space, a double crochet into the top of this stitch here, and another double crochet into the next chain space. We're going to chain 3, and then we've just got 4 treble crochets to work. So we're going to skip this first stitch here. We're going to work until the end of the row, and our last stitch this time will be worked into the top of that starting chain. So I've just worked 3 treble crochets, and our final one is going to go into the top of the starting chain here, and I just like to make sure that I get under 2 loops of the starting chain. And it doesn't matter if you do that with the chain flat or on its side, as long as you go through 2 loops to make it nice and secure. So that's our first 3 rows completed, and you can start to see the daisy is taking shape now. So this row is a little bit different, row 4. This time we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to work a double crochet, and in this row the starting chain doesn't count as a stitch because we're only working double crochets, not treble crochets. So our first stitch is going to go into this space directly under the chain here, and then we're going to work 1 more, so two double crochets in total. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to continue building on the center of our flower here. So we're going to work a double crochet into the chain space again, and then we're going to work a double crochet into each of these 3 stitches from the previous row. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to work 1 more double crochet into the next chain space. So we've gone from having 3 stitches in this previous row, and we've just increased that to 5 stitches. And then we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip 2 stitches because we skipped 2 stitches on this side here, and we're going to work 2 double crochets. And that marks the end of that first pattern repeat. So we're going to do that all along the row. So we're going to work 2 double crochets. We skip the next 2 stitches. We're going to chain 3, and we're increasing these 3 stitches here to 5 stitches. So we're going to work a double crochet into the chain space, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and 1 double crochet into the next chain space. We're going to chain 3, skip these 2 stitches, and then work 2 double crochets. So I've got 1 more pattern repeat left. So I'm going to work 2 double crochets. I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to work a double crochet into that chain space, and then 1 double crochet into each of the 3 stitches from the previous row, followed by 1 double crochet into that chain space. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to work a double crochet into these last 2 stitches. So we skip 2 stitches, I work 1 double crochet, and that final stitch will go again into the top of the starting chain. And I made sure that I've got both parts of that chain on my hook here. I'm trying to show you so you can see that this is actually 1 stitch, but I've gone underneath both loops, and I'm going to work a double crochet. So as we've worked those rows, you can see that we've actually decreased the number of stitches on either side of the flower. So we've started here with 5 stitches, we've gone down to 4 stitches, and then on the last row we've decreased that further to 2 stitches. We're actually now going to start increasing those back up again, and just knowing how that pattern works helps, I think, as we come to building the next rows. So for row number 5, we're going to chain 2 and turn, and that counts as a stitch, remember. We're going to work a treble crochet into this next stitch here, and because we want to increase that from 2 stitches back up to 4 stitches, we're going to work 2 treble crochets into the chain space. We're going to chain 3, and now we're going to work the top of the center of the daisy. So we've just worked 5 double crochets in that previous row. What we're going to do now is decrease that back down to 3. So we're going to skip this first stitch here, and it can be a little bit tricky to pick up exactly where it is, but it is this here, if you look in between my thumbs there. So we're going to skip this one, and then we're going to work 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 3, and then remember we need to work 2 treble crochets into this chain space. And we're going to follow that with another 2 treble crochets, so that we've got 4 stitches either side of our flower. And we're going to repeat that again all the way along. So we're going to work 2 treble crochets, two more in the chain space to increase that up to 4 together. We're going to chain 3 and skip this first stitch here and work into the center 3 stitches. So we're going to work 3 double crochets, and we're going to skip this next stitch here, chain 3 and work 2 treble crochets into this chain space, followed by another 2 treble crochets into the next 2 stitches. I've got one more pattern repeat now, so remember we're going to work 2 treble crochets, and 2 more into that chain space. We're going to chain 3, skip this first double crochet and work a double crochet into the center 3 stitches. I'm going to skip this last one here, chain 3, work 2 trebles into that chain space, and 2 trebles into those next 2 stitches, and that completes row number 5. So we've increased back up on either end now to 4 stitches here. In the next row, in row number 6, we're actually going to increase that up to 5 stitches. So we're going to chain 2 and turn. That counts as our first stitch. We're going to work a treble crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then to bring that up from 4 stitches to 5, we're going to work 1 more treble into that chain space there. We're going to chain 3 And then we're going to skip this first double crochet here, and we're going to work a treble crochet into the center of the 3 stitches. So we're basically mirroring what we've done before. So if you can see at the bottom here, we've got a treble crochet and the 3 stitches either side, and we're now just doing our treble crochet back into the center. We're going to chain 3 and work a treble crochet into this chain space, and then we're going to work 4 more treble crochets, and we're going to repeat that all the way along. So work 4 treble crochets, work 1 more treble crochet into the chain space, that gives us 5 altogether, chain 3, work 1 treble crochet into the center stitch from the previous row, chain 3, trying to hold it so that it's nice and clear. We're going to work another treble crochet into this chain space, followed by another 4 treble crochets. Okay, so my final repeat now, but if you had more stitches, you would just continue repeating this across the row. So we're going to work 4 treble crochets, we're going to work another treble crochet into the chain space, chain 3, and work 1 treble crochet into the center of these 3 double crochets from the previous row, chain 3 again, and work another treble crochet into the next chain space, and then finish off that row by working 4 treble crochets. And remember that the last of these is going to be worked into the top of that chain space, of the turning chain, sorry, from the previous row. And that's how it's looking so far. So we're very nearly finished our pattern repeat now. We've just got 1 more row to add to square it off at the top. To work row number 7, which is really easy, we're going to chain 2. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to work a treble crochet into the next 4 stitches. And if you remember, in the very beginning, we skipped 2 stitches down here, and we want to fill in this chain space now. So we're actually going to work 2 trebles into that chain space. We're going to work 1 treble into the top of this center stitch here, followed by another 2 trebles into that chain space. And then we're going to work another 5 treble crochets. Okay, so that marks the end of the pattern repeat. So we've worked 5 treble crochets, 2 into the chain spaces and 1 into this center stitch here. And we just need to do that all the way along the row. So 5 treble crochets, two treble crochets into the chain space, a treble crochet into this treble crochet stitch from the previous row, followed by another 2 treble crochets into that next chain space, and then we just need to work another 5 treble crochets. So I hope that as I'm kind of working through it and explaining it, it does make it a bit more easy to understand. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the row now. I've got 1 more repeat left, so 5 treble crochets, 2 into that chain space, 1 treble crochet into this center stitch here from the previous row, another 2 trebles into that next chain space, and we're going to finish off the row with 5 treble crochets. And just like before, our final stitch is going to be worked into the top of the turning chain, like that. And that completes the pattern repeat. And you can see that what I mean when I say it definitely benefits to use a yarn that has got a bit of stretch in it. Once you've blocked this, it will open it up beautifully. But if you wanted to continue adding rows, you'd just start again from the very beginning, like I've done here. So you'd start again with another row of plain treble crochets and then get into the daisy pattern here. So I hope that you found that tutorial helpful. Let me know in the comments. I would be really grateful if you would like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.